Hello.
And welcome to Are You Karate Kidding Me? Your number one source of recap analysis and news for Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid.
And all things from the Miyagi-verse. I'm Jenny Carlson.
And I'm Colin Canaday. Welcome. So, Jenny.
Yes, Colin.
How are we feeling about Cobra Kai so far?
Well, I mean, am I supposed to pretend that I'm not already totally in the tank for Cobra Kai?
I don't know. I feel like we're on the march to season 2.
We are.
We should definitely say something about what's happening contemporaneously in the Cobra Kai world.
Oh.
Yeah.
So tell me, what's happening contemporaneously in the Cobra Kai world?
Well, they're shooting season 2 right now.
They are shooting season 2 as we record this.
Uh-huh.
They are midway through season 2.
They're tantalizing tidbits.
They're tantalizing tidbits. We can see, well, I don't want to spoil season 1 of Cobra Kai until we reviewed it.
Oh, good point.
But we can see that Billy Zabka and Ralph Macchio are hard at work.
Yes.
As is their coterie of kid acolytes.
Yes.
Yes.
If you want to be spoiled, if you want those season 2 tidbits, you can always check out our Twitter feed.
That's true. You can check out our Twitter feed. I try not to post too many spoilers, but I follow the cast. So when there's something cool or funky or somebody has a birthday, we post it.
Yeah, exactly. Just trying to get that cross-promotion warmed up.
Plus, every so often when we're in the middle of a Cobra Kai or Karate Kid related event, we live tweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. Cool. So, with that out of the way.
Back here in season 1, we're reviewing episode 3, Esqueleto.
Let's proceed to Cobra Kai, episode 3, Esqueleto.
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 It's nighttime in the city.
It's nighttime in the city. It's a little bit noir.
At the Reseda Flats apartment, Miguel's grandma, who is named Rosa, played by Rose Bianco, is cooking Ecuadorian cuisine in the kitchen.
Right.
Knocking on the door to see if Miguel will come set the table for dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And Miguel is shadow boxing in the bedroom. She's just like, oh, come on, from outside the door. She assumes that he's
a teenager.
Yes, exactly.
She assumes that he's a teenager and doing what teenagers do.
Yeah, what we think
alone.
Teenage boys do when they're alone. But in like all teenage boys, he's shadow boxing.
It's a fair assumption.
And then his mom, Carmen, comes home. She's played by Vanessa Rubio.
Mm-hmm.
She comes in. She is either a doctor or a nurse practitioner. Either way, healthcare worker.
Halloween's coming up, and there's some Halloween discussion.
Yes.
Miguel wants to go as Deadpool because, of course, he is. He is a teenager. And if there's two things we know about teenagers, is they get up to stuff in their room, and they all want to go as Deadpool for the big Halloween.
I mean, like
dance.
you do. And while they're discussing that and whether they will make him a Deadpool costume, establishing that they can't necessarily afford to buy it, she also notices that his hand is beaten up.
Yeah.
So Miguel's mom still doesn't know that he's doing karate after school. So cut to...
Jump over to the Cobra Kai dojo the next morning.
Exactly, where he's hitting the OG dummy.
Mm-hmm.
Or at least OG-style dummy that used to be in the old Cobra Kai dojo, while Johnny is in his office looking at bills that are unpaid and a sad whiteboard that says that Miguel is his only current student.
Yeah, I mean, all Miguel wants to do is kick and break boards. Unfortunately, kicking and breaking boards is expensive. And Johnny doesn't just need Miguel, he needs all of Miguel's friends to sign up.
Or else they really can't proceed with more lessons. Also, Johnny is sporting yet another world-class t-shirt.
Yes, Johnny's got a bunch of very authentic, distressed 80s rock t-shirts.
And Miguel's like, well, have you thought about a marketing strategy? And Johnny's like, of course, in his lame ass.
Yeah, have you thought about ads? Oh, yeah, of
sure.
course I have. Exactly.
So then we go to the LaRusso manse where Amanda's coming downstairs complaining to Daniel about his cousin Louie not coming into work and generally slacking off on the job.
Yeah, we're establishing Louie is unreliable very early.
And Daniel, meanwhile, is super distracted looking out the window because Kyler is picking up Sam and they're kissing in the driveway. And Daniel has obviously taken to heart Johnny's admonition that he doesn't know his daughter as well as he thinks.
Speaking of unreliable, duplicitous people, yeah, Kyler is outside. There's a nice exchange here between Amanda and Daniel where Amanda insists he's harmless, which is in a way true, and Daniel insists...
Yeah, I've known plenty of guys that seemed harmless, that were real pieces of crap behind the scenes.
Daniel is worried. And then we also see him at the dealership talking to Louie, his cousin, and Anush, the other guy who works for him, about his issue with Sam. And, you know, they really don't have much productive stuff to say. Like, they're just suggesting that he threatened the guy, like, jungle fever style.
Look, their advice, whatever movie they're pulling it from, is less than useless.
And the women are, the way they talk about Sam, their boss's daughter, is sort of like an object.
Mr. Treehorn treats objects like women, man.
If these are the people that Daniel can confide in, he doesn't really have any peers or any really close friends that he can trust. He's lonely.
Yeah, it's lonely at the top. But speaking of Sam, we are going to jump over and join her for lunch over at the high school.
Yeah, everybody's sitting there listening to Counselor Blatt explaining that they shouldn't be bullying each other.
Yeah.
Counselor Blatt is played by Erin Bradley Dangar. She also goes on to say that there's going to be a Halloween dance. We can see that the kids just don't care. That her admonishing them not to bully, none of them seem to believe that's going to help. Yeah. And also, she's making suggestions like be a gender neutral hospital employee instead of a nurse.
Yeah.
Yeah, like try not to oversex yourselves.
Well, it's this
in your Halloween costumes, and they also don't take that very seriously.
It's doing a great job of establishing the divide between the cartoonishly progressive one-dimensional staff of the school and the cutthroat dog bite dog world of the teenage high school cafeteria, right?
Yeah, like switching your costume style, while it does help in terms of representation, doesn't alleviate the dynamics of bullying and cruelty that are happening. Like, case in point, we see Aisha pull up to the table where Sam is sitting with Yasmin and Moon and say, Sam, we can go as sodium and chloride for Halloween. And, Yasmin just bullies her back and doesn't know what sodium and chloride are, doesn't know that that's table salt.
Right.
And Sam's
Aisha has a great chemistry joke going, but no one's getting it or there for her.
Yeah, and Sam can't go on with her on that because she's already going to be a Laker girl with Yasmin and Moon. So it's just, it continues. Meanwhile, back at the strip mall, Johnny has paid Lynn, the homeless person who begs at that strip mall, to hold a giant Cobra Kai arrow sign. She's like,
I want meth and a burrito.
And he was like,
you can spend it on whatever you want. That's how money works.
Johnny has zero media savvy. He thinks that sign spinning and posting flyers are going to work. I noticed that he's taping the flyers to trees rather than stapling anything to anything.
Yeah, he's going around with these flyers. He's got his black headband on. He looks kind of like a has-been. Sorry, Billy Zabka. At this point, I'm just wondering, I want to see a cut scene of Johnny going to FedEx Kinko's to get all of this signage and stuff printed up, because it's a relatively...
It doesn't seem like Johnny would be the type to do it at FedEx Kinko's. I think he's probably going to...
He doesn't do
go
Photoshop.
To the local copy shop, or maybe sneaks into a post office or something and gets it done that way. But he does drop the great line.
Try karate. Kicks get chicks.
Yeah, he's trying to talk to these dudes at the basketball court, and he's like, when I come, hey, brohams, which I think is not the grammatically correct use of that word.
Right.
And then he's like, want to come learn karate? Then they totally diss him.
Yeah, he pulls off his headband in dejection. It's very, very sad.
Sad Johnny.
Sad Johnny's no good.
Yet again, Johnny strikes out. Daniel, meanwhile, is ambivalent, not sure what to do. He sneaks into Sam's room in the evening and is looking at her computer chats, where he sees that Kyler wants to have time alone with her.
Yes.
At the Halloween dance, he's going to give her something big.
Daniel does not like this because of the double entendre that he implies.
Yeah.
Even though, is Kyler implying a double entendre?
We don't know that yet, but it could go either way. The point is that Daniel reads the worst in, and rather than talking to Sam and asking for her reassurance, he's going behind her back and looking at her chats.
That's true. And that's no bueno. Absolutely.
Talk to the women in your life, Daniel. Talk to them for real.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely not going to happen certainly not in the first half of the season.
So, meanwhile,
Amanda interrupts.
Yeah, Amanda interrupts, and Daniel's like,
Oh, I was having trouble with my Wi-Fi. I got it working, though, so we're all good. Have you thought about what you want for dinner? I'm thinking about making my broccoli rabe. Is Shark Tank on tonight?
So back at the dojo, Johnny pulls up dejected. He has struck out. Lynn has put the sign down. She's already eating. Did he pay her in advance?
I guess.
Anyway, now he's going back to the dojo, and he's just like, ugh, it's over. Yeah. I'm not going to teach any lessons today. And Miguel is amped. He's like, let's do this. Where have you been? I need you. Let's go.
Crazy Cat Lady decided she was not interested, but Miguel certainly is still interested because he's designed the whole Cobra Kai website.
Yeah, he like brings his computer in to show Johnny, who's already hitting the Coors banquets out of frustration. And, Johnny was going to cancel class, but now we can see Miguel opens up his laptop, shows Johnny a website. Maybe he's never even seen a website in the entirety of his life with an animated snake logo and personal sign in. And Miguel is so into it. And we can see Johnny's like hopeful smile.
Yeah, Johnny gets a little proud. No, Miguel really did a bang-up job on this website. And if you want to do a bang-up job on your website, I suggest you check out CubeSpace. No, okay, sorry. No, we're not sponsored. I'm just
we're not sponsored.
I'm joshing around.
We're not sponsored. And there you see that Johnny is, really touched by Miguel's automatic desire to help him out and help him market the dojo. Mm-hmm. And then his phone rings.
I'll call her back later.
Hey, was that just...
Rat? Awesome, right?
Yeah.
That shit is dope.
Miguel's got Rat on his ringtone, which is a great touch. And also Miguel was listening to 80s metal in his room at the top of the episode. So Miguel has bought into the Cobra Kai lifestyle, hook, line, and sinker at this point. All Johnny needs to do is figure out a way to actualize it. Hopefully he'll figure that out sooner than later.
But he restores Johnny's faith. Mm-hmm. Johnny has learned that working with Miguel makes him feel good.
Yeah, exactly.
And here we are back at the LaRusso manse.
Back at the LaRusso house that evening.
It's dinner time. Sam is explaining that she likes Aisha a lot. She just doesn't want to dress as a molecular compound.
Sam is really working overtime to try and bridge the divide between her two worlds, and it is not working out.
Well, and Amanda is encouraging Sam to do so because as far as Amanda knows, these are legitimate good friends on both sides. Mm-hmm. And Daniel, meanwhile, says that he has agreed to chaperone the Halloween dance.
Oh my God, how embarrassing.
And she's like, come on. And he's like, well, my mom drove me on dates, so.
Well, you know what? PolitiFact rating true.
Yes.
That did actually happen.
That did happen.
If you're on that Easter egg hunt, that is definitely, a callback.
If they really want to embarrass Sam, they can just send Daniel's mom, Lucille, in. Now we're back at, I guess, the high school pool. They've got a nice school if they've got a pool. And just as Mr. Miyagi took Daniel to learn how to kick and find balance in the sea in The Karate Kid.
Learn balance! Go on, make kick, learn balance!
Johnny is bringing Miguel to this pool, but Johnny seems a lot less benevolent than Mr. Miyagi was to Daniel. And Johnny is tying Miguel's hands. Is this a fraternity initiation?
It might be. Here's the question that this scene brought to mind with me is this something Kreese did to Johnny?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I don't know, probably.
Yeah. I mean, it'd have to be, right?
He has to get these ideas from somewhere.
Right, exactly. There's definitely some very tough love on display here as Johnny kicks Miguel hands tied into the pool, and he's like, if you want to live, you need to tread water, and to tread water, you need to kick. And
But when Miguel's in the water and he's kicking and he can't bring himself up because Miguel can't swim, Johnny has a minute. He's like, oh my God, I should have asked him if he could swim.
Johnny admonishes himself for forgetting to check if Miguel could even swim first.
We can see that Johnny really is like, oh shit, Johnny's not sure what he's doing. Mm-hmm. So if these are Kreese techniques, if Kreese had done it, Kreese would have looked super assured and I don't care if the kid dies. Whereas Johnny is like, oh my gosh,
yeah,
what have I done? So he pulls Miguel up by the hair, tells him,
drowning is for pussies, all right? Don't be a pussy. Use your legs.
And then Miguel kicks and finally surfaces, and then we've got a nice montage with Johnny letting Miguel kick the board.
Right. Well, because this is the Karate Kid world, we learn everything through a montage, and we get this very nice cutting back and forth between kicking practice in the pool and kicking practice in real life. And eventually Miguel gets to a point where he breaks that board. Kicks may get chicks, but kicks also get you oxygen and eventually get you broken boards.
And, they get busted and kicked out of the pool because, of course, Johnny didn't know anybody there.
Yeah.
And we can see that Johnny is really beginning to bond with and get excited about Miguel's training. And this is the moment where we see that Johnny is beginning to take himself seriously as a sensei, with Miguel. He's taking his relationship with Miguel seriously as less than a means to an end and as a person to person. Meanwhile, he's still got those past due bills.
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is on Johnny's mind the whole episode. We keep coming back to this, is that Miguel may be an eager and good student and enthusiastic.
But he's only one student.
He's only one student, and he's also poor, so he's not paying Johnny full tuition either. Johnny's just taken on this apprentice. Miguel needs to rapidly catch up to where Johnny was for Kreese in high school.
Yeah, Miguel is, they've been doing all this training. Miguel's at the dojo getting dressed for the Halloween dance. Johnny's like, I'm taking you to this Halloween dance, and you're going to find some more students. And Miguel puts his costume on, and it's like sewn together curtains or muumuus, and he's like,
It's my Halloween costume. It started off as Deadpool, then I think it was Spider-Man.
and Johnny's like,
You're poor, man.
Yeah.
burn on the nose.
Yeah, pretty harsh, Johnny, but I mean, compared to a few scenes ago, I guess that's not the harshest Johnny's been to Miguel this whole episode.
No, but like it's clear that Johnny's like,
Well, I can't let you go out like that. We have a reputation to uphold.
and of course, what other costume is Johnny going to get Miguel?
Then classic Cobra Kai skeleton from
Yeah.
Karate Kid 1. Yeah,
Exactly. But Miguel is still ultimately, at his school, a nerd, right?
that's true.
He walks into the best decorated Halloween dance I have ever seen.
Yes.
With the DJ.
Well, they're in California and on TV, so of course they're going to have a banging Halloween party dance.
Yeah, he walks up to Eli and Dimitri, who are dressed in nerdy costumes. And meanwhile, Daniel is there talking to Counselor Blatt, who he knows from high school. I think Counselor Blatt might be carrying a torch for Daniel.
It is interesting through that conversation and maybe a couple of others, it implies that they knew each other in high school. So originally I thought Counselor Blatt was like a background character in Karate Kid 1, but I think that's just implied. It's not explicit.
Johnny is lurking around in the hallways of the high school, putting up Cobra Kai flyers.
Yep.
And meanwhile, Sam, who is hanging out with Kyler in her Laker girls costume, goes over to talk to Aisha, who's Sodium. And says, can we hang out sometime soon? So we can tell that Sam, taking Amanda's advice, trying to keep this friendship going because she does care about Aisha. But she's always thwarted because Yasmin and Moon are there in their Laker girls costumes wanting to all Instagram with her. And so she has to go. Like she's trying to have it both ways.
She keeps jumping back and forth from world to world. Something's got to give eventually. The other thing I wanted to point out was Dimitri, Eli, and Miguel make kind of a three musketeers of just being terrible. They're wallflowers the entire dance.
They're trying to mac on girls.
Uh-huh.
But they keep getting scooped by other people in costumes.
Yeah.
And they can't even hold their punch.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and they're like leaving the floor of the dance because they're delicate flowers.
Yeah, and on their way out, Daniel scopes Miguel in that perfect vintage Cobra Kai skeleton outfit, and once again, he gets a traumatic flashback to Karate Kid 1.
Specifically to the moment when Johnny and the other Cobra Kais wailed on him before Mr. Miyagi rescued him the night of the Halloween dance. And as his eyes follow them walking out to go to the restroom, he sees a Cobra Kai flyer on the wall, and he's freaking out. He's following them. He's temporarily forgotten that he's really supposed to be watching Sam.
Yeah.
Daniel's in hypervigilant mode, constantly worried. There's Johnny taping up flyers.
Taping his Cobra Kai flyers over anti-bullying flyers, I noticed.
Is there anything better than Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka in the same scene? I submit there is not.
Yeah, when these two get together, the sparks fly, and, it's a treat every single time. Daniel, already in watchdog mode for Sam, has now kind of transferred that to being just a watchdog in general, and is, Johnny should not be skulking around the school hallways after hours under any circumstances, but especially not to be peppering the place with Cobra Kai flyers and trying to recruit.
Yeah, and trying to recruit in ways like telling those people who were making out in the hallway, like
www.
period
Cobra Kai period. COM, all lowercase.
He calls out the Cobra Kai web address like your great aunt or something.
He's lucky that guy in the chicken suit didn't smash him with an egg.
The guy's using real eggs.
I like
Speaking
that.
of literal Easter eggs.
Yes, that's about the most literal Easter egg you can.
Nice work, showrunners.
There's a chicken guy here, too.
Yes.
What is it with chicken guy?
I know, that must again be a California thing, right? Really fancy dances and people in chicken suits.
Must be.
So, Daniel and Johnny have a confrontation. Daniel's like,
I just don't know why you'd ever want to bring back Cobra Kai after what your sensei did to you.
and Johnny's like,
And the lessons worked, because I'm not Kreese.
Okay,
Yeah.
fair enough. Yeah.
And Daniel was like,
If you think I'm gonna let you fill these kids' heads with that garbage, you're nuts, man.
I'm not sure the lessons worked
Okay.
in terms of character growth, personal growth. Like,
well,
I think
they're talking cross purposes.
Right.
Like, yeah.
right.
Johnny's just talking about being able to do sweet kicks, and Daniel's talking about trying to be a better person.
Exactly. So, back and forth, like we can tell, once again, it's simmering. It's not over between those two. Meanwhile, Daniel is chasing down Sam and Kyler who walk by. So he doesn't have time to again, our hope for a fight is stymied. Meanwhile, back at the dance, the dudes are...
So out on the floor are 3 Daenerys Targaryens from Game of Thrones. And they were like, 3 Daeneryses, 3 of us. Sounds perfect. Unfortunately, one of them gets scooped by a Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a nice touch.
That was a nice touch. He's going to have trouble when he finds out that she can burn things.
She's gonna burn.
The mother of dragons, the Khaleesi of the great grass sea, the breaker of chains, rightful heir to the Iron Throne.
This is Jon Snow. He's king in the north.
So Sam and Kyler are gone. But meanwhile, on the dance floor, Yasmin is making plans to hurt Aisha, to bully Aisha.
Yeah.
But Sam doesn't see that because she and Kyler are in a classroom hiding, and Kyler has asked Sam to help loosen his belt so he can give her something.
Yeah.
And this is the extremely inopportune moment.
Where Daniel scopes them through the window of the classroom.
Daniel bursts in.
And busts in, yes.
And is like...
I knew there was something off about you and you wouldn't eat the Toro.
And Kyler's like, no, I just wanted to give her this bracelet. It belonged to my grandma. Burn.
Okay, well.
Yeah, Sam is, Daniel is dead to Sam at this moment. She bails. Daniel has completely screwed it up.
Yeah.
Sam runs back, and now everything's going from bad to worse.
Sam's there just in time to catch Yasmin in the Prestige, pulling her latest cyberbully move on Aisha by posting unflattering stuff of her to Instagram.
She takes a picture of Aisha eating Cheetos, writes an unflattering caption, and then posts it to social media. She CCs everyone in the school. So in that moment, like, all the goodwill that Sam has tried to reclaim with Aisha is
flushed away.
Aisha has become a target for the whole school. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, our 3 nerd boys are hanging out when, here come all the bullies.
Yeah.
They are dressed as Captain Hook and his crew. And we overhear Brooks and Kyler talking about how Sam's dad foiled his attempt to give Sam a fake bracelet.
You had her in the palm of your dick.
Yeah, so apparently Kyler's game is fake sincerity. Like, one, Kyler's playing a dangerous game, and 2, he's playing a very sophisticated pickup game where he fakes sincerity apparently right up until the last moment. Once Miguel gets word of this, that really sets him off, and he uses the opportunity to practice one of his new awesome kicks on Kyler.
Yeah, Miguel's trying to strike hard, like lesson 2, but it's not...
Yeah, see, Miguel doesn't have quite the entire skill set yet, so while he was able to down Kyler momentarily with a sweet kick, he has none of the other tools of having karate or self-defense training, and so immediately everyone else in Kyler's crew grabs him and drags him into the back of the locker room.
Eli and Dimitri have fled, so so it's just Miguel at this point getting his ass kicked. There's nothing redeeming about Kyler. There's no appeal to doing things right. He just has a lacrosse stick and is beating the crap out of Miguel while Johnny is standing outside the locker room in the hallway, or the restroom locker room area. He's in the hallway looking at old pictures, and strangely enough, we see Elizabeth Shue's Allie in a picture holding a football. And
Johnny's caught in a fugue state momentarily, but he's also conveniently next to that locker room door when Kyler and his crew pour out, which then prompts Johnny to investigate, and that's when he sees Miguel crumpled and beaten on the locker room floor. It's a pretty bracing moment for Johnny and for the show in general.
Yeah, I mean, like, again, Zabka's acting nails it. His face just is shock resolved and horrified at the sight of Miguel in a pile on the floor. That's the end of Esqueleto.
You need something to justify yourself.
So I think that brings us to the point in this episode where in summary, Jenny,
Yeah.
what do you think of this episode?
Oh my gosh. There's so much going on in this episode because this is the first one where we get to see everyone, all these moving parts in the same place together. Virtually the entire cast.
Oh, that's true. Like, this is more of an ensemble show where it's like we got a lot of moving parts. Everybody's got something to do. Yeah.
I mean, kudos to the writers, to all those people working on this because they did a good job of having all these characters play off each other in ways that feel true to themselves and not like a plot device. So that's hard to do. And I think that the episode does a great job of pushing us towards Act 2. Mm-hmm. Like, it sucks to see all these characters suffer. It sucks to, suffer. They're not suffering bad yet. I mean, Miguel is suffering, and Daniel is in angst. These characters are in angst mode. And, even Johnny, because the Brohams insulted him, and he's worried about money. This is an episode where you're like, oh, man, I really care about these characters.
You can see the potential for what's to come, but everybody's still kind of awkward, and they don't have all their stuff together yet.
I mean, as characters, they're very clear.
Yeah.
But their situations, like all human situations, are fraught and difficult.
It's like Johnny's dojo itself. The potential is there, but it's still unfinished.
Yeah, like if in episode 2 we learned that we were going to sympathize with both Johnny and Daniel, like it wasn't just Johnny's POV the whole show, episode 3 is where we really get that, oh my God, this isn't just a comedy. This isn't just a fun, like, walk down memory lane. These showrunners, this crew, this cast, they are bringing new stories, and we're, oh no, like, oh shit, I'm invested in these characters. And that this is the moment where, I think for us, the binge began.
Yeah.
Like, we're like, all right, we're binge watching this. Because we knew then that we had to see what was going to happen with these characters. And so it's also worth noting, episodes 1 and 2 of Cobra Kai, we tend to talk about the people who run this show or direct and as an entity, as if they're a collective like the Borg.
Well, yeah.
But in fact, they are 3 people, John Hurwitz, Hayden Schlossberg, and Josh Hild. Right. And the first 2 episodes, Ace Degenerate and Strike First, were directed by Hurwitz and Schlossberg. And episode 3 was directed by Jen Salata.
Jen Salata, yeah.
Jen Salata.
Being how I would pronounce it.
Oh, Jen, I hope that's how you pronounce your name. I think thus far the only director who isn't a showrunner. And so it's cool to see such a complex episode directed by a new person who's also a woman. So what is happening in this episode? Like, what does this episode do at this point in the series? We are establishing that Johnny is building a relationship with Miguel the person. Mm-hmm.
We're establishing that Miguel is do or die Cobra Kai all the way.
Well, yeah, one of the things that Johnny said to Miguel when he was having him kicked was like, Cobra Kai never dies. Like, under these extreme situations, Miguel is being socialized.
Yeah.
In the teachings of Cobra Kai, not just in karate, but in like Cobra Kai ethos.
This may be the most attention that Miguel's gotten from an adult father figure in his life, and so he has hooked into that hard.
Yeah, and I think that with Daniel, we're seeing that Daniel doesn't have friends, true friends that he can talk to, or peers, except Amanda.
Right.
But he doesn't have male friends. He has nothing but his worries.
Right.
Which is ironic given all the good things that have gone right in his life. And Daniel doesn't know how to do his best and then let it go with Sam.
Right.
In fairness, I'd be pretty upset too if I saw a dude having my daughter unbuckle his belt.
Right. There's a lot of I think this is an effect of the show riding the line between comedy and drama. They do set up these drawing room comedy premises where it's like, oh, Daniel busts in and he sees Sam trying to unbuckle Kyler's belt for presumably nefarious purposes. But no, Kyler was just trying to give her a bracelet. Oh, but no, actually fake out. Again, Kyler's bracelet is fake and he has a fake sincerity routine.
To try to get in bed with Sam.
To try and get in bed with Sam.
Yeah. Daniel and Johnny, at this point, Daniel's telling Johnny, if you think I'm going to fill these kids' heads with that crap, you've got another thing coming, basically. But we don't know what Daniel's going to try and do. We just know that this is early days and Daniel is not having it.
Much like in Karate Kid, Daniel finds himself on the defensive for the majority of the first half of this season, right? Like, he's scrambling to play catch up to Sam, to Johnny, to whatever else is
to
going.
Anthony and his
Yeah.
Whatever his gaming device.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, also we see that Sam is, like, her conflict about who to run with is becoming stronger.
Yeah.
And she is going to learn that she can't have it both ways.
Right.
Yeah. So at this point, it feels like Miguel may never get it together. Or Johnny's like, you know, one step forward, two steps back. Mm-hmm. And you know that
Miguel is an ungroomed bonsai tree at this point.
Bonsai tree.
Well, I mean, no one's going to help Miguel find his roots because he's not working with Mr. Miyagi, right? He's working with Johnny, and Johnny's all about channeling your aggression. Mm-hmm. Like for Miguel, he didn't strike Kyler because it was in a situation where he could fight righteously. He struck Kyler because he was mad.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's something that Miguel has not yet learned. At this point, we don't know if he's going to learn it. Yeah. And Johnny doesn't know how important it is for Miguel to learn that. For Johnny, it's just like the lessons work. Be badass.
Yeah.
For me, this episode is great because of all the callbacks to the original Karate Kid. I mean, you know, instead of Princess Leia, alias Princess Leia, we see girls as Daenerys. Yeah, so there are all these moments where you feel that this is the Karate Kid's world. I don't like watching Miguel get the tar beaten out of him. I don't like watching Daniel look like an idiot when he's right about Kyler, even though he's going about it the wrong way.
Yeah. And
I hate watching Aisha get bullied.
Yeah.
So my sense is the episode is fantastic because I feel so many feelings. It's just such early days. Like I want to know what's going to happen with all these characters.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like, no spoilers, but I think we'll also see this a little bit with the next episode, is if we're thinking of the whole season as a movie, then yeah, this first third is pretty tough to watch because this is all like downhill slide. Like we have to basically dig our protagonists, whether it's Johnny or Daniel or Sam or whoever, like we need to dig them into as deep a hole as we can so that they can spend the rest of the season scrambling out of it and trying to get back to where they need to be. And so watching these first couple episodes is really harsh because you're like watching all these characters get bullied or, you know, get deceived.
Yeah, and they don't know what to do with their feelings. Like the other thing is that it's not just that these characters, we like them, it's that they have feelings and we see them making wrong choices based upon the imperfect tools that they've been given. I think that this is great. I just wish that it didn't suck so hard to be a teenager. And I wish that Johnny wouldn't run from himself as much. I wish that Johnny had a sense of like why he was doing this and what he was really looking for. Because I think then he would teach Miguel in ways that are better and he would be better to himself.
Yeah.
And I just wish that Daniel knew that he needed more for himself rather than just worrying about his family all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well then, I think that wraps it up for Esqueleto. So next time, we will pick up with Cobra Kai Episode 4.
Cobra Kai never dies.
Until then, I've been Colin.
I've been Jenny.
Thanks for listening.
See you around the Miyagi-verse. This podcast has been produced and hosted by Colin Canada and Jenny Carlson.
Our music is by Chepo.
You can find us online at areyouKarateKiddingMe.com
and wherever you download podcasts.